Oh, Trevor Lawrence, not going to the draft. Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like somebody that is anti-draft experience because I loved what the draft was down in Nashville. I am a big fan of watching the draft. We'll have a draft spectacular yet again for the first round. But last year, whenever we got a chance to just bounce around, guys were at their home, Zoom calls or whatever, I feel like there's a chance that more of this Trevor Lawrence type stuff happens. I was always very confused that on the biggest day of your life, you've worked your ass off to get to this moment. Huge, okay? Off-season workouts. Now it's like 7-on-7s, year-round, morning lifts, morning runs, night lifts, grueling practices, traveling, scheduling. Then you finally get a chance for your dream to come true with everybody you've ever, and they ask you to go like stand on a stage with a couple agents and then dap up Roger Goodell. I don't know, that just, whenever I got drafted, pick 222. Okay, I thought it was over hours before that when the Cowboys, who told me they were going to draft me, drafted somebody else, and nobody else told me they were going to draft me. So I was like, oh boy, thought we had a chance here. Didn't get invited to the combine. What's plan B? It's a pill. What else? Don't know. Okay, there's a lot going on. But when I got drafted, there was a moment where my dad and I, okay, hugged each other, embraced for like 5-10 minutes almost, you know, like crying, like emotional there, because there was a lot of nights where we're out on a high school football field all by ourselves. Tim McAfee's throwing out his shoulders, getting the ball back, and then when you get drafted, it's like, hey, nowhere near where we want to get to, but this is something that we always dreamed of. And for the first rounders, same exact shit. I know they're getting paid a lot more money, and the jewelry is nice, and the suits are dope, and that moment on ESPN is really cool. But for me, I always wondered, you know, like a little bit conflicted on like real life dream shit just happened, okay? And we're treating it like reality TV almost. And then obviously, if something bad happens, which by the way, you've worked your entire life for this moment, and then publicly you have to learn that people don't think that highly of you. I mean, it is just, it's quite a roll of the dice. I'm very thankful I was not invited to do it, but I'm happy that Trevor Lawrence is saying, nah, I'm cool, I'm not gonna do it. I'll hang out with my family and friends. I'm sure we'll have a camera there. Yeah. I assume they'll negotiate that. But those moments, and then we went down Pugliano's right down the street. I mean, it was just like, it was a really cool day. Those moments are really cool. And I'm not saying the draft is not awesome. I love the draft, and I'm assuming some guys love doing that whole thing. But I always was confused on how they got everybody to agree to it, basically. There was like, there's not one person in there that was like, I'd rather be drunk with my family and friends right now. You know, that's just, but I like that Trevor Lawrence is doing this. This is like maybe setting the standard for everybody. Like, hey, they can still make a entertaining draft show without you having to be there for potential ridicule or life fall down moments, you know what I mean? They could still come to you, shoot you, they can make it entertaining, have guests on, they can do all that shit. They don't have to worry about your life crumbling potentially in front of everybody else's eyes, which ultimately won't happen to Trevor, would never happen to Trevor. But I'm just saying that is something that some guys sign up for.
Do you think location and venue matters at all to guys? Like, let's say if it was in Vegas this year.
Barry Cleveland.
No.
Come on.
No. I mean,
come on.
You know, hey,
we like the dog pound.
Cleveland's awesome.
Hey, I'm a Midwest guy. I love Cleveland.
Bro, Cleveland rocks. Cleveland rocks. Okay, so you're singing. This is like Russell Wilson saying, go Hawks. You believe it.
Yeah, I love Cleveland. But do you think some of these guys, like if it was in Vegas or Nashville or like New York, they'd be like, maybe I'll consider it?
I don't know.
They should do Dubai. That'd be crazy.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, guys will go over there. Let me go 27 hours on the plane real quick.
Why not?
All right, come on.
Well, it definitely has to do, too, with how many people they can bring, right? Because with COVID, they couldn't bring, like, say, Trevor has, you know, a big family. He's got a fiance now, a bunch of friends. He can't bring all those people.
I think my favorite draft thing is you never know who's going to show. I had some neighbors show up that I had not talked. I had not.
Half a plum just randomly showed up
at the house.
It's like there's a hotline somewhere.
Like,
hey,
just showed up at the house.
Pat just got drafted. He's at Pugliano's. Let's go.
It was wild. It was. I mean, there's people that showed up at our house too before we get to play. It was like a pretty cool.
Did you guys cater Rudy's?
It was a what's that?
Did you guys get some Rudy's over there?
Well, Rudy's is across the street, and at that point, I don't know if we got any Rudy's over there. There was a lot of drinking.
If there's a camera there, oh man, the moments that could be captured.
Bro, it really did feel like most of Plum just showed up there. It was very nice of them to show up. Then the next morning, the classic story goes, Tim McAfee like woke me up. Everybody in Plum was probably hungover at that point and was like, hey, we got to go learn how to punt now. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You just got drafted. We all celebrated. and you have no fucking idea what you're doing. Like,
Told him you could hold.
hey, we gotta go to work. And then that was also the notorious day where I was told while I was punting balls, spraying them, the NFL punt is just like a two-step, kind of like straight. In college, I would catch a ball and I would run to the side. So although it sounds similar, I understand it all involving kicking a ball. The leg swings are just vastly different. It is a much different. When I was running, if I missed, the ball would get on the ground and be able to roll. It was still like a win. Whenever you do the NFL-style punt, you have to get a lot more hang time because nobody's allowed to leave the line of scrimmage. You can't really. The reason why you run in college is because it also buys time for your coverage to get downfield. So normally if you get it there, you can do whatever. In the NFL, you can't do that. You have to fucking bomb balls because only 2 people are allowed to leave the line of scrimmage before the ball is kicked. So it's a very different thing. And I do enjoy and appreciate the fact that Bill Polian told me on draft day before the Puglianos party down there in Blackout or whatever with the whole city basically down there, the whole borough down there. I think you're athletic enough to figure it out. I'm like, yeah. Okay, yeah, sure. But that was in the middle of like a chaotic situation around me while he's telling me that. So it really wasn't until that next morning, when the party stops and the whole town goes back to their homes or their work or whatever, and it's not really like a celebration anymore. It's like more like a, oh, fuck, we got to do this type thing.
This is my job
That
now.
is quite a day. That is quite a day whenever balls are just spraying around. And then I was actually offered that day to buy the naming rights of the school, of the field that day. Like while I'm doing that, it was very nice of them to come out in the middle of that thing. They're like, hey, by the way, $30,000, we can put your fucking name on this.
That's all it's going to take.
Tim McAfee's like, 30 grand, dude. Have you seen this kid punt the ball?
Sorry, he actually already bought an Escalade,
Yeah,
so
bought an Escalade.
I don't think
he bought an Escalade already, and he can't punt. We might be in debt, actually, because we made the NFL because we had to buy that. So it's just, there's those moments, though, that I think get lost whenever you're at the draft and doing this whole thing, and then you hop on a private plane right to the team, and then you do the whole thing. But granted, those guys are in a much different world than I was in, the first rounders. So I appreciate those that go and do the whole thing for us to watch, but I also am very appreciative of the guys finally saying, I'm going to go do this with my people here a little bit.
And plus, you get clips like, was it CeeDee Lamb last year when he grabs the phone from his lady?
Oh, yeah.
That's my phone.
And then also, what was it? There was a lot of respect. We had a lot of respect for this. They obviously told people there were only allowed a certain amount of people in the shot or whatever. So there was a couple kitchens that were just packed.
Yeah.
And then the shot would be on the fan. There'd be 2 of them And then all of a sudden they would keep the camera on for a little bit too long, and there'd be somebody dancing out of the camera. Like, no.
Out of frame.
Oh man, it's a massive night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you get drafted, it is a massive. I don't know if there's any other moments where me and Tim have had that moment. I honestly don't think there's many moments that is a massive, massive day. And if it doesn't work out and goes the other direction, like whenever the Cowboys drafted the other kicker from USC or whatever, like if I had to have been televised during that was a bad moment. Oh my God, that's a bad moment, let alone these guys that fall in the draft. Oh, maybe it's because, and then they start showing lowlights of the player. He threw 17 picks last year. Remember, he did do this. It's like your night could not get worse. Oh yeah, it could. Let's broadcast it to the entire world. That's how that whole thing works.
Well,